Guys, gals, whatever. This is going to be the final auction update. It's been kind of fun going through all these records that I won in an auction, and this last batch has some stuff I'm more familiar with, it seems. So before we get to that, I'm taking a trip down memory lane for myself anyway. I was in a record store before Christmas and came across How You Like Me Now by Kool Moe Dee. This is an original copy on Jive Records. Kind of a far cry from today. Kool Moe Dee's posing with a nice Jeep Wrangler, it seems, and the rappers today pose with Lamborghinis and Bugattis and shit. But How You Like Me Now, Wild Wild West. I'm a Player. Were all great songs from my youth. When I discovered rap, this came out in '87. I was about 14, so I was into rap back when I was around 10 or 11. So this was popular when I was, I guess I would have been a freshman in high school. So I have some other old school rap down here that I found at the same record store, so we'll talk about them another day. This actually had the original paper insert with some lyrics on it. The lyrics are pretty cheesy, as you can imagine. Has like a little rap report card here about like vocabulary, articulation, creativity, and it lists KRS-One, Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie, Curtis Blow, Run DMC, Fat Boys, all the stuff that was great during this time frame. So we'll talk about old school rap another time, but let's get into these records. First up, we have Integrity with In Contrast of Sin. You probably know Integrity. I think they're currently on Relapse. They do a lot of stuff for various labels. This is a white vinyl. When this came out, they were on Victory Records, if I remember right, and I think the owner of Victory and Gwyd, the singer, had a falling out, so this version is from, see there, Dark Empire Records, if it'll focus. It's hard to see, but I'm not familiar with this song or these songs. Side 1 has Live It Down and In Contrast to Sin. Side 2 is Bring It Back, Dead Wrong, and Harder They Fall. Curious to check that out. I'm a huge Integrity fan. Next up, we have Cult of Luna, who I'm also thankfully familiar with. This has Unfold the Inside, The Art of Self-Examination. This came out on Hydra Head. So the packaging's kind of cool. It's kind of a flip-up 45, and it looks like this is on a see-through, half see-through, half orange, kind of cool-looking vinyl. Familiar with Cult of Luna? I actually have their new one here, A Dawn to Fear, which I haven't got into yet, but I'll be talking about that at some point. Kind of a long songs, heavy on the instrumental side, death metal vocals. I hate to call it not shoegaze, but just pummeling songs over and over, same riff over and over again, but the good riffs. They came out, Mariner, I believe it was called, with Julie Christmas, was a great, I think they considered it an album or EP, I don't know, but I'm a big Cult of Luna fan, but I am not familiar with their Hydra Head era stuff. So I'm trying to find a year on here. I don't see a year, so anxious to check that out. This is another record from my youth, or a 45. Pitch Shifter. Death Industrial. Just the back. Pitch Shifter was on, this is clear vinyl. When I knew of Pitch Shifter, they were on Earache. This is on Vile Music from 1991, so they may have signed to Earache right after this. Kind of industrial metal, if I remember right. Wasn't really my cup of tea back then. I was more into the heavier stuff. Industrial just wasn't my thing, but I may give them another shot. Next up, we have a picture disc here. Hyrax. Sorry for the glare there. This has I See Blood Red and Slit Your Wrist, which is labeled as an anti-suicide song on Black Devil Records. I believe these guys are more like thrash metal. I never have listened to Hyrex. I've seen their name, that logo I've seen all over the place over the years and just never got into them, so give them a whirl. Next is Break Through It All by Death Before Dishonor. Now, these guys I know are a hardcore band, mainly because I've heard of them before, of course, but Bridge 9 Records put out, let's see, this came out in 2007. Huge hardcore label. I remember they put out the early Terror stuff, which was good for what I call tough guy hardcore. I know that's not a great label for this stuff, but more about it's blue and black, burst color, pretty cool. I don't want to say it's tough guy hardcore, more positive thinking hardcore, which I am a fan of, huge fan of early Terror as well, so check them out. Funeral for a Friend is a band. This is Juno. I'm familiar with them, and I'm pretty sure it has Getaway Plan, and it's white with some grayish speckles in there. I was never a big fan of Funeral for a Friend. Again, this came out 2003, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, so I may give them another whirl. If I remember right, they were just kind of cheesy-ish pseudo-metal, if that makes any sense. Wasn't a huge fan, but give it another listen. Next up, we have a split between The Locust and Melt Banana. The cover looks like a big penis and a man holding it by the head, and a child watching in horror. Whoop! That's not mint condition anymore. It's yellow vinyl. It looks like The Locust. Well, it is a penis, based on the songs back here. How to Become a Virgin, Who Wants a Dose of the Clap, 23 lubed up schizophrenics with delusions of grandeur, Priest with sexually transmitted diseases, Get Out of My Bed, The Half-Eaten Sausage Would Like to See You in His Office. Those are all the Locust songs. If I remember right, the Locust, they all wore these masks. They all look like flies when they're on stage. And Melt Banana's crazy Japanese, I think they're from Japan. I hesitate to call them metal because I've heard a lot of their stuff and it's all over the place, but I am a fan of Melt Banana. They've been around forever as well as the Locust, so I'm curious to check that out. Crazy cover though. Punk band I am familiar with. Naked Raygun, Home, and Last Drink is on the B side. I believe Naked Raygun were from Washington, D.C., possibly Chicago, but I can't remember. See-through green vinyl. Just great punk rock from the 90s. Their first few albums are really great. I'm not familiar with these two songs, but I will check it out, of course. Big Naked Raygun fan. Glad to have this attention in my collection, if it's any good. Out of Beer, Out of Tune, and Out of Control. Jughead's Revenge. This is 133 out of 1,000. These guys were kind of pop punk, if I remember right. This came out on Hard Records. I'm not familiar with Hard Records, but I remember Jughead's Revenge. When I say pop punk, I don't mean like Green Day or The Offspring or any of that. Blink-182. These were more a period where pop punk wasn't such a bad term, and it was more super fast, catchy punk rock, if I remember right. Apologies, Jughead's Revenge, if I mistaken that, but looking forward to checking that out. This is another copy of Death Before Dishonor. This is just a different color. I'm not going to talk about this again. So, whoever I got this collection from was a big either Bridge 9 fan or Death Before Dishonor fan. There's another Death Before Dishonor and Black Friday split. Another Bridge 9 release. They were really big Death Before Dishonor fans, so maybe I have to check these guys out. Clear with Black Splatter. And Black Friday is the other band on here. Not familiar with Black Friday, but give them a whirl. I think I talked about this one before, maybe not. But The Exploited, I'm a huge fan. Army Life, and on the B-side, Fuck the Mods and Crashed Out. I was in a band, that's Black Vinyl, a while ago, and we did Army Life. Great song, probably one of my favorite Exploited songs. And ironically enough, The Exploited Dead Cities, a band I was in, did Dead Cities as well, so we did both these songs, Army Life and Dead Cities. I think Dead Cities may have been one of the first songs we listened to. I'm going to open this up a little bit, get some more light in here. It's looking a little dark, sorry. And it also has Hitler's in the Charts again on the B-side. Again, can't go wrong with The Exploited. The Anti-Nowhere League, For You. These guys, I hadn't heard of these guys until, I'm pretty sure Metallica covered these guys. The song So What might have been Anti-Nowhere League. If not, correct me. But I know that Metallica's done a cover of these guys. That's how I first heard of them, so I'm not familiar with their original material. We'll check them out. Great Smooth Back by Dahmer. I am not familiar with Dahmer or Slightly Fast Records. I don't know if this has some the inserts and stuff. Black Vinyl. I know the name. I obviously know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, but I think I remember hearing about this band in the '90s. So we'll check that out. This is another copy of the Locust and Melt Banana, but this is a purplish vinyl. Don't need to talk about that again. Destroy Your Idols and the Spud Monsters. I don't know if this is a split. It's like there's a couple of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley of Kiss on the back there and on the front. I'm not sure what this is all about. I am familiar with the Spud Monsters. It's like a yellowish orange vinyl. I have a cassette, if memory serves me right, I might have it for sale of early Spud Monsters. They were just kind of weird punk metal stuff. Wasn't really my thing. I was kind of exploring different genres of music in my younger years, and I remember buying the Spud Monsters cassette. So I'll give them another listen. This is Victims. I know the band Victims. I don't know the song though. These guys are still around. This came out on Death Wish, I believe. This is, folds out. Lies, 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 and Life Goes On. I had a couple Victims CDs at one time when I was in my Converge phase, if you will, and Death Wish phase, where I would buy everything that Jake Bannon of Converge, and I believe he runs Death Wish, with someone else would put out. Kind of got over that, but I'll give Victims another chance. This is still sealed. It's Marilyn Manson, Heart-Shaped Glasses. When the Heart Guides the Hand. I am not familiar with this song at all. It's still sealed, so whoever bought this must not have liked the song either, but and I respect Marilyn Manson and what he does. The outrage that he still baffles me, that people are still outraged over a guy like Marilyn Manson. So kudos to him for that, but this song I'm not familiar with, so I don't know if I'll even check that one out. This looks like metal or hardcore, based on the logo, Equity. So this Carte Diem on the back. We got some reddish pink vinyl. I don't know what songs are on this. I don't know much about the band. The cover scene feels like it was handmade. There's nothing on the inside. Kind of a cool fold out there. Song is called Impact. And oh, Carpe Diem I think is another band because there's 3 songs on here. Ritual, Footsteps, and We're Hoping Compassion Never Meet. On Knockout Records, limited edition, 67. You see right there, 67 of 300. So it's cool. It's a limited edition. I'll give it a spin, see what it's about. Based on the logo and everything, I'm gonna guess some type, and based on some other stuff here, it's gonna be a hardcore / metal release. And some of the stuff is actually labeled on the outside, as you'll see in this next one. As hardcore or whatever. These arms are Snakes, Tropics. You can see up here someone wrote hardcore on it. This is limited to 304 out of 500 copies. I remember this band. I don't remember what they sound like though. I'm pretty sure they have white vinyl. This is super heavy white vinyl too. I'm very impressed by it. This is, I can't even bend this. I don't know what how many grams this is. It doesn't say, but kudos to the label for doing heavy gauge 45 this many years ago. I'm trying to remember what I can remember, if that makes any sense, about These Arms Are Snakes. I'll put some links below after I do this. This is a picture disc by what looks like a split potentially here between the band Corrupted and Phobia. I am familiar with Phobia, a great grind death metal band that have been around for, I believe, 30 years. One of those bands you can pick up every CD and not be disappointed. It's just super heavy, super fast. The riffs are super catchy, so looking forward to listening to this because I am not familiar with this song. So this one's labeled as metal. I can take the sticky note off of it. Destroy Metal United. It's got some Japanese writing up here. And based on the names, I'm going to say they're potentially Asian. Masaki Takeshi Akihiro Tetsuo. Good movie. But I'm not familiar with this band, so I'm going to check this out. The Asian folks, I'll tell you what, when they latch onto something like American metal or something like that, they really go all out. Their horror movies are some of the best horror movies going right now. It's like they take our culture and turn it into something a little different, which is cool. I don't even know. Breed FF, Alive. And backside is Someone Tell Me. Alive is taken from the forthcoming album In My Blood. Breed 77, that's the band. I am not familiar. Check it out. Moment of Youth. Not familiar. Cool cover though. And we got some clear vinyl here. I'm not sure what that is. I didn't check this one. I don't know if it's any kind of... Oh, it's like a pinkish vinyl on that one. No Turning Back, Rise from the Ashes. Pretty sure this is going to be a hardcore album based. A lot of hardcore bands have this. I don't know what font you call this, but they all have the same kind of font with their logos and shit. It's kind of when I started to not quit paying attention, but it's on orange vinyl. No Turning Back. That's hardcore through and through. No idea what it sounds like, but I'll give them a shot. I'm always willing to give someone a shot. You never know. Could be the greatest hardcore ever. Bring It On, Only the Strong Survive. This is on A389 Recordings. They released all kinds of stuff. I was a huge fan of that label out of Baltimore, I think, and they don't believe they're around anymore, but I think they released some Integrity and some other, like a greenish clear vinyl. We'll check this out for sure. Everything this label put out was at least something worth listening to. Trying to remember what else they put out. Maybe some Val. I could be wrong there, but I'm not familiar with Bring It On. But A389, shout out to them. I will take a listen. This is more hardcore, whatever, straight edge, potentially. A Positive Youth compilation with, I don't know if these are different bands or just different songs. And it's a white vinyl. Could be 6 bands and 6 songs. That's the fonts are all uppercase, lowercase. I don't know what's what here, but if you know some of these bands, maybe you'll be able to figure it out. This cover, I think, was on one of my previous videos, but I could be wrong. Every time I see the X on someone's hand, I always think it's, oh, I remember that cover. But that's pretty popular for a lot of straight edge type album covers. Wreckage, Subway's End. This might be this is from 1989. It looks like NP001 could be the first release for Noise Pollution Records. Pretty cool, I guess. See-through reddish pinkish vinyl. I'm not familiar with Wreckage. Based on the logo, I'm gonna guess a metal, maybe slash hardcore. Curious to check that out. And it looks like we got 2 more here. This is okay. This is cool. Venom. I'm gonna take this out so you can see the. I don't know if you can see the picture, but this is how cool Venom were. I know it might look kind of cheesy now, but these guys, these guys are doing this before anyone else. This has, it's called the Immortals of Metal #1, limited edition of 1,000. This was put out on Neat Records. Never heard of them. Has Acid Queen and Die Hard. Great songs. Venom, I believe they invented the term black metal. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. They had a song called Black Metal. I thought that's where the term originated, but I could be wrong. But if you don't know Venom and you're into metal, stop watching my video and go check out Venom. And last but not least, Agoraphobic Nosebleed with Clockwork Sodom and Tentacles of Destruction. I've talked about Agoraphobic Nosebleed in the past. This is kind of a cool take on Clockwork Orange movie cover. That's the other side. This folds out. Clockwork Orange Sodom and Tentacles of Destruction. A Lashing for the Ages and The Compensation Phenomenon. Looks like they were all written by Agoraphobic Nosebleed, so they aren't covers. Huge fan. If you're a fan of, I think I said in my other video, if you like Pig Destroyer, yellow vinyl, yellowish. Pig Destroyer, Scott Hole, who's also an Agoraphobic Nosebleed. He's in Pig Destroyer. I highly, it would behoove you to check this band out. I'll put some links below to some of the better songs, in Sean's opinion. But I'm happy to have this in my collection. I did not know this existed, so anxious to check it out. Kudos on the cover. That's really cool. The band Ghost also has a t-shirt out now with the same design. I own that as well. So hope you enjoyed this video, guys. That's it for the auction. I guess that means it's time for me to go win another one somewhere. Hope you enjoyed the old school rap in the background. Again, that was Kumo D. How You Like Me Now. That was just side A. But like I said, I've got a lot more stuff that I have purchased recently I'll be talking about. And I'm going to start digging into my collection and talk about some memorabilia that I have. I have a lot of cool stuff. Some of it you can probably see around. Some of it you can't. So I'm going to start talking about some of that stuff, as well as some of the releases that have been important to me over the years, kind of releases that got me into music. Some of it you may like, some of it you may not, but we all have a past. So I will talk about that next video. So Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you had a good New Year. Let's make it a good decade. Catch you later.